You ever watch someone crash and burn in front of an audience and realize you're the only one who actually knows why? That was me, standing at the 500-yard line, arms full of fresh targets, listening to Rodriguez, a brand-new SEAL with something to prove, lose his mind over a rifle that, to anyone with two eyes, was working just fine. I mean, this guy was blaming the steel and carbon fiber in his hands for shots that landed everywhere, but the bullseye, voice rising, pride cracking. His team leader, Jake Sullivan, looked about ready to take a walk. Me? I just blurted it out. You're pulling your shots left, man. You're anticipating recoil. The rifle's fine. I didn't even realize what I'd done until the words hung in the air like a challenge. 8 heads snapped my direction, Navy SEALs and all, staring at the college kid who was supposed to be invisible. If I'd had any sense, I'd have crawled into a hole and disappeared, but something in Meme, my dad's stubborn streak, kept me upright. Let me back up a sec. I wasn't there out of passion. Nursing school was bleeding me dry, and my dad's disability pension barely stretched far enough. Range work? It paid better than Starbucks and let me plan shifts around lectures. I'd spent the last 8 months picking up skills most shooters took years to build just by keeping my mouth shut and my eyes open. My old man, Gunnery Sergeant Miguel Martinez, taught me to shoot when I was 12, always drilling the basics: patience, control, no excuses. He'd say, a craftsman never blames his tools. Master yourself first, then worry about the gear. The SEALs came in heavy SUVs, serious faces, and a quiet confidence that told you these guys played for keeps. Jake led by example, not by volume. Rodriguez, though, walked with a swagger that said he was either desperate to belong or terrified he didn't. Watching him struggle, it was obvious was all muscles and movie memories, little discipline. Body twisted, cheek never settled, elbow all wrong, fingers smacking the trigger like he was swatting flies. Every miss made him sloppier, angrier, and louder, his frustration drowning out any shot at learning. I kept replaying my dad's lessons in my head: relax your grip, breathe, follow through. And I swear, if someone had bothered to give Rodriguez actual feedback instead of just ragging on him, he might have stood a chance. Jake watched like he saw the flaws too, but let Rodriguez sink on his own. That's why, when the rifle hit the bench and Rodriguez threw a fit, I couldn't keep quiet. I broke the first rule of range work: didn't make waves. After I called him out, the air got thick. Nobody moved, nobody talked, until Jake walked over and locked eyes with me. You think you could do better? Skepticism and curiosity in one. Rodriguez scoffed, but Jake cut him off. Hit the target. 3 shots, dead center. I'll buy lunch. Miss, you explain yourself to my CO. The others closed in, half amused, half intrigued. My heart hammered. I took the rifle, hand steady, voice shaking just a little. This thing's heavier than my dad's, I said, running my hands over it, stalling for time. Rodriguez shot daggers at me. What you gonna teach us about shooting? But Jake, eyes steady, wanted to see what I could do. You got a background? He asked. Military family. My dad's a retired gunny. He taught me to shoot at 12. We hit the range together every weekend. One of the older SEALs, Webb, whistled, "You Miguel's kid?" He turned average Marines into sharpshooters at Scout Sniper School. Suddenly, the mood shifted. Even Rodriguez seemed unsure. My dad's reputation floated over my shoulder like a guardian. Jake nodded at the 500-yard target. Winds left, 5 to 7 miles per hour. Match ammo, rifle zeroed at 100. You ready? My mouth was dry, but I nodded. I made harder shots with my dad, but never with this kind of audience. Can I show you what Rodriguez did wrong first? I asked. That got a laugh, but Jake waved me on. I slid into position where Rodriguez had failed, walking through his mistakes' unstable base, choking grip, slapping the trigger. I fixed my posture, showed how bone support works, relaxed my hands. Grip should be like holding a bird. Tight enough it can't fly, gentle enough you don't crush it. For the first time, Rodriguez was actually listening. Then came the trigger: don't slap it, just squeeze straight back. Last, I covered breathing, natural pause, halfway exhale, then hold. That's when you're steady. I could feel them watching, judging. I breathed, found my calm, squeeze, bang, puff of dust, dead center. I ran the bolt, fired again. Same spot. Third shot perfect. The world got quiet except for the ocean crashing behind me. Jake checked the scope. 3 shots, 2 inches, dead center. Webb and the others were dead silent. Rodriguez just muttered, "That's impossible." Jake's face softened a bit. "This isn't her first time. Why aren't you competing?" I shrugged. "I'm in nursing school. Range job pays the bills." Webb shook his head. "What you did, that's expert marksmanship under pressure." Suddenly, a black sedan rolled up. Commander Harrison, in full dress blues, stepped out, eyes sharp. "Chief Sullivan, how's training?" Jake explained what happened, introduced me, my dad's name hanging in the air. Harrison studied the target, then looked back. "That's not recreational shooting, Miss Martinez. That's military competition level." Jake asked for permission to have me observe advanced training. "She's got a knack for diagnosing problems." Harrison turned to me. "You interested?" "Unofficial, but your skills could help." I looked around. Jake's nod, Webb's respect, even Rodriguez softening. I heard my dad's voice, "When opportunity knocks, yes, sir." "I'd be honored," I said. What started as me trying to help ended up with me working alongside elite units training, not just SEALs, but Marines, Rangers, even cops. I learned more in 6 months than I could have in 6 years of school. Sometimes in those early days, I felt torn. Was I still a nursing student or something else entirely? Jake always made sure I got invited to training sessions, and Webb would check in with quiet encouragement. My big break came when a group of Marine Scout snipers struggled with wind calls. I spotted a subtle wind pattern. Everyone missed terrain, quirks my dad had drilled into me since I was a kid. When Jake had me step in, I explained what I saw, showed the signs. The Marines' accuracy jumped, word spread. Suddenly, people wanted to know what the range girl saw that the flags didn't. That's how I got pulled into the world of civilian marksmanship instruction. Rebecca Chun, a contractor, called after hearing my name around bases her company trained military and law enforcement. Most of our instructors are former snipers, but you have something different in eye for fundamentals, the patience to teach. Want to help us design new courses? Triple my pay, work around my classes, the freedom to do what I loved. The rest happened fast travel, new teams, teaching snipers and police, sometimes even Olympic coaches. The money helped paid off student loans, helped my dad with medical bills, finally got ahead for once. But what mattered more was the work. Every time someone I trained hit their mark, every time a Marine or FBI agent found that sweet spot thanks to something I showed them, it felt right. I finished my nursing degree, but by the time I graduated, I knew my real work was here, teaching the skills that kept people alive. Looking back, I'm still amazed. If I kept my mouth shut that day, let Rodriguez keep blaming his rifle, maybe nothing would have changed. Instead, I found a calling I never knew I had, and a community that respected what I could do. The funny thing is, it all came down to a moment when I stood up scared, outnumbered, but unwilling to let bad shooting go unchallenged. So here's the question for you. What would you have done in my shoes? Stayed quiet or spoken up? Is it ever wrong to call someone out when you know you're right, even if you risk everything? Let me know what you think, because sometimes one honest moment is all it takes to change a life.